Welcome friends to this ultimate guide to mining. I'm your host the Obsidian Noob and you join me today for this beginner's guide that will get you through to an intermediate knowledgeable level. Today we're going to cover all of the most common blocks, the ores and how you're going to use them. We'll even talk a little bit about the biomes that you can find your different resources in, and of course what they're going to look like in their natural habitat so you know what to look for. Finally, we'll even touch on the best enchantments that you can use to get the most out of this experience. So grab your pickaxe, make sure you use the timestamps below to navigate this video, of course like and subscribe as well, and let's get straight into this fast-paced beginner's guide. So let's start off right at the beginning with the tools of the trade. Pickaxes are going to be what you need for mining. They go from wood and stone and iron through to gold and diamond and even netherite. And now they're really simple to craft. You just need a crafting table with 2 sticks and 3 of whatever material you need. Now the higher up the tiers you go, the longer those tools are going to last you because they have better durability. In this guide you're going to hear me make reference to axes, and these are reflected in the position in the top left corner. The first is the X axis, then it's Y, and then the Z or Z. In order to toggle these you need to go into your game settings on Bedrock and then into show coordinates. On Java it's as simple as pressing F3, but these are going to change as you move around your world, and certainly the middle one is what you're going to be mostly focused on if you're looking for resources. You can see here as we go up this hillside that the Y axis increases, and if we were to go downwards it would decrease. This is how you will navigate and find your resources. It can be quite daunting as a beginner to take all of this in, but mining is one of the fundamental skills in this game, as the title suggests. So let's quickly take a look at the different blocks and how you're going to find and use each one of them. There are a load of different blocks and ores in the game, but let's start off with the first one that you're going to encounter when you join a survival world. Now stone is really important, and it's a good job that it's so abundant in the world. You can find it in cliffs or in great big hillsides, or alternatively you can just dig down a few blocks under any kind of green biome and you'll find it in the floor. Stone is going to be really important for you to upgrade your tools, and it's also going to be what you're going to need to build your first furnace. Now the great news is that you can mine stone with wooden tools. Just remember to take the output block, which is going to be the cobblestone that it drops when you mine one. Now the next resource I want to talk about is coal, and this is quite literally a consumable that you will burn your way through in the game. It's going to be the main source for your torches to keep you out the dark, and it's going to be an early smelting resource for you. And the great news is that it's easy to find them on stone outcroppings a bit like this, or in high open cliff areas also like this where you'll find big deposits. Now coal can be mined with wooden tools. You don't have to have the minimum of stone, and they drop these greeny yellow experience balls, which is what you need for enchanting later on in the game. Now coal has so many uses, from smelting and torches to building campfires. It really has a lot of uses, so whenever you find a deposit a bit like this one here, make sure that you go ahead and mine all of the rocks, because you don't know when you're going to find another one. The next resource I want to cover is iron and gold, but I'll do it both together because I think that they're quite similar. Although you find them at 2 different levels of the y-axis in terms of the height of where they both can be smelted into bars, and both have their most common uses being for armor or for weapons, although there are so many other recipes that you can use these for. Now starting off with iron, similar to coal, you're going to find this in open stony areas, something like a stony outcropping like this, or alternatively on a really high level cliff face where even from this panning shot you can see just how much there is available. Now probably one of the best tips that I can give you for iron is don't break it with a wooden pickaxe, because the block will break but you won't get the ore. You will at least need stone in order to collect iron ore from deposits. Gold is usually found really low down, around Y-15 on the axis, so if you find a surface deposit like this, then be sure to mine it, but make sure you don't use stone. Just like we had the problem with wood and the iron ore, you will need at least an iron level pickaxe in order to get the ore out of gold ore blocks. So let's move on to diamonds then, and yes, they are quite rare, but you can find them relatively easy. Now diamonds are generally found in the lowest levels of the world, around the areas of -50 to 57, although they can be found further up the y-axis, as you see here at -19. Sometimes they can be buried, sometimes they can be open, and generally they will be around redstone, gold and some iron as well. Now you might have noticed that some of these ores are surrounded by darker colour blocks rather than the lighter stone colour that we saw previously. This just means that they're found surrounded by deep slate, which generally happens when you go past 0 on the y-axis into the negative numbers. So moving on, our next ore is copper, and for a while copper didn't really do a lot in Minecraft, but the 1.2.1 update brought a whole host of new recipes, most commonly seen in the trial chambers biomes of the underground section of the overworld. These chambers are quite challenging, so let's have a look at where you can find copper in the overground surface areas. Similar to iron, you can find copper out in the world on stony outcroppings, but you can also find them commonly at the entrance to big caves, a bit like this one. Now to mine a copper ore block, you're not going to want to use wood. Similar to iron again, you're going to want at least stone, otherwise you'll break the block but you won't get the ore. Copper is very similar to iron and gold in that it needs to be smelted in a furnace and changed into an ingot before most of the recipes can be crafted, but it does bring a new dimension to your builds. So moving on, let's talk about this lovely blue crystal here called lapis. Now lapis crystals are required for enchanting items with magical properties as you move through the game. You can find them more commonly at lower levels. Here we're at -24, though they can be found higher up in big mountains surrounded by stone. You'll need at least a stone level pickaxe to mine these. You'll also see that they drop multiple crystals as well as the experience balls that you need to actually make those enchantments later on. So let's move on and talk a little bit about redstone. Redstone is extremely important in Minecraft as it is the power source for any kind of machine operations and the recipes that are very similar. In order to find it, you'll need to go down again to the deepest levels, and you will need at least an iron level pickaxe to mine some redstone dust, which will also come with some experience balls. Now, redstone recipes are very complicated and probably intermediate to expert level, so I do recommend doing some more research if you want to build with that. So finally, the last gem that I wanted to talk about on here is emeralds. Now emeralds do actually buck the trend. Those you don't find low in the ground, in fact you find them in the very highest areas of the world. These can commonly be found in cliff faces or in huge great big windswept mountains, which is what the name of the biome is, and they are very useful for villager trading. If you're lucky enough to find an emerald block, they generally are one on their own, and you're not going to want to use a stone pickaxe for them. They are going to need at least iron to be broken. The good news is that you'll get through them very quickly, you'll get yourself your emerald and also some experience points too. Now if you're after multiple emeralds, I'd probably say that mining is not the best way of getting them. The best way is going to be through trading with villagers and giving them items that you already have. The final part of this video I wanted to cover today would be the enchantment side of Minecraft, and talking about what the best enchantments are for you to put on your pickaxes and to demonstrate how they can be effective in your survival world. In this little demonstration, I'm just going to show you the benefits of enchantments. Here we've got a diamond pickaxe and we're going through 5 diamond blocks. It's nice and quick and simple, but what are the best enchantments that you can use? Well, unbreaking is going to mean it takes less durability damage, mending will mean that you can repair the item as you get experience points, but actually Fortune 3 is the one that I really recommend, because as you can see here, just with Fortune 3 we've doubled the amount of diamonds that we got from those blocks. Now the other enchantment that's really useful to you is Silk Touch. Silk Touch you can apply and that will allow you to break the block, but notice that if we try to apply it to a pickaxe that already has Fortune assigned to it, it's not going to let us do that enchantment because you can't get multiple of the block that you pick up. So what you would need to do is then create yourself a different normal diamond pickaxe, and you're probably still going to want to put unbreaking on it and probably also mending as well, but what that will allow you to do is actually break and pick up the blocks in their raw form, which can add another dimension to your builds and your Minecraft experience. We've barely even scraped the surface of what the mining skill entails in the game, but this will give you a very good understanding to build upon. And of course, Silk Touch has a lot more to offer than just what I covered. For example, as you explore these crystal geodes, there's a whole host of different blocks and things to uncover with that. Then there's the Nether and all of the challenges and the joy that that place has to offer. And then finally, there is that great big anomaly that is the Deep Dark, which again comes with its own challenges that Silk Touch will massively help you with. Now, if you've made it to the end of this video, then your knowledge of mining in Minecraft must have grown somewhat, and if you have got some value from today's video, then please consider subscribing to the World of the Obsidian Noob, where I post up things like this all the time, and of course drop me a like if you wouldn't mind, that helps me grow as well. In the meantime, have fun out there with your mining experience. There's definitely going to be an advanced guide coming at some point in the future, but until then, have fun wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next video.